Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Mark Cunha with us. Mark is founder and CEO at My People Know. We're going to talk about influencer marketing, TikTok, ads, and everything in between. This pod is brought to you by my podcasting company. It's called podfire.com. If you want to start, scale, monetize your own podcast, you can go to podfire.com. Mark, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about
Thanks.
yourself and about what you're up to nowadays.
Yeah, thanks, Charles. So I've probably been in marketing for almost a decade at this point, starting from 2015-ish. Was in product development, and for the last 4 years now, been primarily focusing on influencer marketing, predominantly within the creator economy, creator management, marketing, full-scale campaigns, all that cool stuff.
Interesting. What are your yearly goals?
Yearly goals. We want to like to hit at least 3 million in rev. We're fairly still a small shop, but we've only been around for just under 4 years now within the space, and within our vertical, it's a little bit early, but some things are looking good for 24, and it's just a grind. You know how it is.
So how much clients do you run on usually, and how much do you charge?
So we have, I think to date, we've sent just over 400 invoices, and obviously those are not all unique clients, but it varies on the campaign. Some clients will come to us just for a one-off single impact campaign with one creator, or it could be several. But predominantly, most of the business we do is single campaigns with our creators. Our creators are within the top 3%. So what does that mean? They're influencers that make more than, they're in the six-figure range. Any creators that are less than or outside of the 3% doesn't really make sense with their business model, just the amount of work that's involved. But campaigns can range from as little as 2,500 upwards to six figures, depending on the size and how many creators are involved.
So how do you find your influencers and how do you find your clients?
Yeah, great question. So in terms of our creators, we're always kind of scraping the web, looking at what creators are popping up. It's a never-ending space and growing space at this point. It's starting to get a bit saturated, to say the least, especially with UGC coming into play. But in terms of our process and sourcing creators, it's a lot of it is organic. Most of it's been referral at this point now, based on our existing creators, which we kind of got in at a good spot in late 2020, found some creators that we saw immense talent and sparked up conversations, and majority of our creators have actually been with us since 2021 at this point. So retention's there. And in terms of clients, we got two sources of leads. One, which we're thankful for, is the inbound from our creators. So they all have an agency email. A lot of leads coming that way, but we don't stop there. We're obviously doing outbound as well. That's essentially it in a nutshell.
And your influencers, are they tier 1, tier 2? How do you get to select who you're working with? What conditions do they put forward? Do you put the conditions? How does that work?
Yeah, so we're open to work. We're a creator first agency, so anyone who's generating good content, has a strong community, we love to work with them. But at least on a financial business perspective, ideally we'd like to work with creators that are capable of at least generating $5K a month, at least within brand partnerships. We've also last couple of years we've explored additional monetization methods. For example, we've got a couple deals with some publishers, some books that have been launched on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, etc. Starting to dip into some podcasts, but really just investing into the creators that have the potential to not just promote brands, but branch out and take advantage of the community and launch additional products within their space. So.
And any niches that you work with, are these influencers mostly on TikTok, on Insta, or do you also do B2B influencers?
Yeah, so most of the creators are first we found them through TikTok, but obviously those have branched out to all, other platforms as well. But YouTube is also a strong platform. They're all great, obviously, depending on what the client's requirements are. And in terms of niche, we're kind of a mixed bag. I mean, we've got creators that are within comedy, creators within animals and nature, POV. It's a mixed bag, but they're all strong to say the least.
Right. And okay, these agents, well, these companies, they pay you at least 1.5K a month to put them in touch with top influencers and organize the full campaign. How much do these influencers charge normally per collab or per post? How does that work?
Yeah, again, it really depends on the brand, the campaign itself. But within our business model, we typically don't like to facilitate anything that's less than, $1,000, because the amount of work in terms of facilitating the communication, going back and forth with the client, doesn't really make sense to us. And that's why our main focus is creators that are sitting within the top 3%, so then we can talk about higher ticket items. But that's generally, where we're at in terms of, what we're pricing. And again, it really depends on the brand and, what they're offering in terms of, compensation, additional products, etc.
So let's say that your agency ran on 500K last year. Like, are you trying to go for 1 million this year?
No, so sorry, we our first year we did 1.2, and then the second year we did 1.8, and then this year we're on track for the same numbers, unfortunately, but there's some nuances there that to reflect that. But in terms of this year going into 24, we're aiming for at least 3 million.
It's pretty good. What's your plan to get there? I've heard outreach. Do you also deploy some ads? Like, how can you get from 2 to 3?
Yeah, so honestly, it comes down to just precise prospecting, and it unfortunately it's not just getting a batch of leads in spring and praying, because some of these creators are so specific that the personalization goes beyond just someone's scraping someone's LinkedIn profile or their post. It has to match with what the creator's content is, as well as the simulators between with the brand as well. So that's, I would say, the biggest pain point. I mean, we've got the leads, we've got the contacts, we have the infrastructure for the outbound, but the personalization requires significant human touch, which is fine, because obviously, as we know, with AI and everything else involved, it's pretty easy to kind of tell what's genuine, what's not. But that's essentially our plan. Is we've got thousands of leads, thousands of contacts, but it's the personalization that really takes majority of the effort.
Right. So some nuances for sure, but mostly
Yeah.
outreach and doing stuff that is different from the competition. Do you only have the agency model in mind? Did you think about some platforms, some SaaS, or will you be fully focused on the agency model this year?
Probably focusing on the agency model. It's a lot of human touch. In terms of a platform, we've tossed some ideas around on the table, but obviously that requires some capital. But if we did create any type of platform, it would probably to streamline and make the in-house agency process a lot more seamless. So yeah, it's pretty much it.
Other than that, what are your top goals as a human being? This year is business 80% of your focus, and then what else do you have?
80% of my focus, always business, if not more. But outside of that is just clean, healthy lifestyle, getting in a routine and being consistent with that. Already have a routine as of now, but sometimes the late hours can kind of dig into my circadian rhythm. But can't stress enough of the the health and fitness, to say the least, because without that, you don't really have much of a mind, in my opinion.
What justified your decision to move to Tulum?
Well, one, my partner's from here originally. It's a beautiful relationship, and two, obviously the weather and the food. Uh, can't can't beat 30-degree weather in the middle of, January, and going out and grabbing a few tacos and ceviche, and you know how it is.
Yes. What's your plan when it comes to that? Like, do you want to establish yourself in Mexico, keep on traveling? What's your plan?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question. It's typically 6 months in Canada, 6 months in Mexico. Funny how you asked that, because myself and my partner have been thinking of where, because we, we we feel like there needs to be like a home base. Don't get me wrong, it feels like home here. But I think this year we need to establish, where we're gonna go and stay put and just dial in, stay focused, and travel from time to time, but can't stress enough that this year is all about scaling. So gotta be focused.
Right. I'm also checking like with accountants and for taxes, because yeah, you
Yeah,
don't want to be double taxed in both of these places if you're citizens at both places.
yeah,
So I'm also
yeah,
checking that out. Maybe we can talk after the pod for
yeah. We
referral when
should.
it comes to these folks. Last question for you. Faced lots of challenges with the agency. What were example of these challenges, and how did you surpass these?
For sure. I would say one of the challenges that we faced, more so, in 2023, was a lot of, at least for us, a lot of brands are gearing towards this commission-based model. TikTok Shop is obviously a massive contributor there. Um, which obviously, if I was on the brand side, I would probably be looking at that model as well. However, most of our clients are just looking for that brand awareness, which aligns with their creators in the top 3%. And I would say the other one is UGC. As the years have progressed, a lot of brands have got a lot more sophisticated of realizing, hey, you know what, we can get a content creator that makes incredible content and just throw a bunch of dollars behind ad spend and get the same, if not greater, return. So those have been some challenges, and quite frankly, to overcome that is just really focusing on the relationship with the brands, even if we have to kind of bite the bullet at the beginning in terms of, maybe receiving some free product and demonstrating some data and some results first, and then talk about paid partnerships. That's kind of one way that we're combating that.
Where can people find out more about you, Mark?
Yeah, you can go to, our website's mypeopleknow.com, and on LinkedIn, I'm one of the only few Mark Cunhas, Mark with a K, Cunha, Cunha.